What if changing your entire UI's visual style took one click? Press this button and we switch from light to dark mode. Today we'll create themes using style sheets and USS variables. A theme is a set of related styles that keeps your UI consistent. Instead of choosing colors for each individual element, you group those decisions together, and that way everything stays coherent. Then you swap themes to change the look of your UI. In this video, we'll build a clean and scalable theme system in UI Toolkit using USS variables. We'll use a few parts to build this system, so let's break it down. First, a shared style sheet defines the base styling of the interface. Things like default styles for layout, spacing, and text or type. But instead of hard-coding colors, we use USS variables. USS variables are named values that usually start with two hyphens. For example, ~appbg. You define them once and reference them using the var function. So instead of setting a color directly, we reference a variable. That variable is just a label. It doesn't define a color by itself. It only gets meaning when the theme assigns a value. Second, each theme gets its own style sheet. In this example, we create theme light USS and theme dark USS. Each one assigns values to the same set of variables. Light mode defines one set of values, dark mode defines another. These values override the defaults from the general USS style sheet. Third, a small C# script swaps the active theme style sheet at runtime. It doesn't rebuild the UI or change the layout. Instead, it swaps which theme style sheet is currently attached. That style sheet provides a new set of USS variable values. UI Toolkit then resolves those variables again, and any styles that depend on them update automatically. Let's look at the UXML. This is the structure of our layout, and it won't change even as we apply theme styles. We have a root container, a header with a toggle button, and a main content area. If you open the file, you'll see something like this. So again, here's the root, the header, and the main content. If we unfold these sections, note that we've been careful not to use any inline styles, and there's also nothing theme-specific in here. This file defines structure only. We want all the styling to come from the style sheets. To define a base set of styles, we'll create a general style sheet called general.uss. This includes USS class selectors that style all the main elements in the UI. The root pseudoclass uses USS variables to define a palette of RGB colors. So here's a sample USS class selector. Instead of fixed values, many of the properties reference variables using the var keyword. In the root, you define the USS variables, and then you use them in your styles with the var function. You could also set up USS variables in UI Builder. Select the root pseudoclass. In the inspector, open the variables section. Click the plus button to add a new variable, choose a type, give it a name, and assign a value. We'll choose a color in this case. To use it, select a style, go to a property like background color, and choose Set Variable from the Options menu. Then pick your variable from the drop-down. Now the property references that variable and updates automatically when the value changes. We'll use these USS variables to create our theme style sheets. Each style sheet is just a list of variable values. So here are the theme dark and theme light style sheets. They use the same variable names as the shared general style sheet, but assign different values. In UI Builder, you can preview those values by selecting the root pseudoclass. We attach these style sheets to the UXML. In this demo, we're only using colors, but USS variables can also represent other types, including fonts and textures. And you can just use these other assets the same way when building your theme. At runtime, we use a controller script to swap style sheets. We add a callback to the theme button, and when clicked, it checks the current mode and then switches themes. The apply theme method removes the current theme, adds a new one, and then updates the button label. The shared general style sheet is not affected when we switch themes, and it just stays attached to the UXML. The USS variables on the root get new values as the styles override each other. UI Toolkit recalculates styles, and the UI updates automatically. Because everything is built on variables, the new look just snaps into place. Keeping themes in separate style sheets creates a clear boundary between your sets of styles. If you need another theme, just add a new style sheet and update the controller. At the bottom of the UI, we have a custom element called Theme Token Preview. It's just a small block of text and a color chip, but it gives us a way to show how custom elements can respond to theme changes. The difference here is that this is a custom visual element, so it's defined in a C# script. Normally, USS variables are used inside of style sheets, but if you want to read them in C#, you need to use the Custom Style API. For this demo, we've defined a few extra USS variables just for this element: token demo BG, token demo accent, and token demo text. These are just regular USS variables. We're just accessing them from code instead of USS. At the top of the script, we declare a custom style property of generic type color for each one. Each property matches the exact USS variable name, including the double hyphen prefix. Next, we register for custom style resolved event, and that tells us when the styles are ready, so we know it's time to read the USS variables. It runs on first load and anytime the theme changes. Inside the callback, we read each value using event custom style try get value. If the background variable is available, we apply it to the element's background. The text color is applied to the labels, and the accent color goes to the color chip. We also convert those values into RGB strings so the debug label can display them at runtime. So the USS style sheet still defines the theme. The C# script just reads those values and applies them to the UI. UI Toolkit also includes theme style sheets, or TSS. This is a panel-level system for applying themes. We didn't use it in this demo, but it follows the same principle. A theme style sheet bundles USS files into a single asset. Here we have the light and dark themes built from the same style sheets we used earlier. To switch modes, you swap the TSS asset in the panel settings, and that updates every UI using that panel. Use theme style sheets for larger UI systems or editor tools where you want a centralized and consistent theme setup. The Dragon Crashers demo includes a theme manager that uses TSS. In the settings menu, you can switch seasonal themes with a dropdown. If you only need to apply themes to part of your UI, you can still swap style sheets directly without TSS. Just use whatever approach fits your project. And that's how you build a scalable theme system in UI Toolkit. If you want to learn more about UI Toolkit and USS variables, check out the resources in the description. You can also find more details in the official documentation. Thanks for watching.